In the winter of 1984, a single song emerged that didn't just top charts, it changed the way the music industry viewed charity forever. That song was Do They Know It's Christmas by Band Aid, a spontaneous supergroup formed in the UK to combat a devastating famine thousands of miles away in Ethiopia. But this wasn't just a holiday tune, it was a rallying cry, a musical revolution, and a moment where pop culture collided with global compassion in an unforgettable way. The mastermind behind this remarkable effort was Bob Geldof, frontman of the Boomtown Rats. After watching a harrowing BBC report about the Ethiopian famine that showed starving children and overwhelmed aid workers, Geldof was emotionally shattered. He knew he couldn't just watch and do nothing. Instead, he picked up the phone and began assembling some of the biggest names in British and Irish music, determined to record a charity single that would raise both awareness and money. In less than a week, Geldof and producer Midge Ure of Ultravox had written the core of Do They Know It's Christmas, a poignant and slightly provocative song questioning Western indifference to suffering in the developing world. The song wasn't just about Ethiopia, it was about the Western world's tendency to forget the humanity of others when they are out of sight. With the melody composed and lyrics written, it was time to bring in the stars. What happened next was historic. On November 25, 1984, the greatest assembly of British musical talent ever recorded at that time entered Sarm West Studios in Notting Hill, London. Among the voices who lent their talents were Bono, U2, George Michael, Wham!, Sting, The Police, Boy George, Culture Club, Simon Le Bon, Duran Duran, Paul Young, Phil Collins, Bananarama, and many more. Some artists flew in with almost no notice. Boy George, for instance, was called in the middle of the night and caught a last-minute Concorde flight from New York just to be part of it. Despite the star-studded chaos, the song was recorded in just one marathon 24-hour session. Artists waited their turn, many nervous about delivering their lines perfectly. Bono's iconic line, "Well tonight, thank God it's them instead of you," was initially offered to others, but his passionate delivery made it one of the song's emotional peaks. Phil Collins provided drums, playing live in a single take that became the backbone of the track. Do They Know It's Christmas was released on December 3, 1984, just a week after it was recorded. The response was staggering. It sold 1 million copies in its first week in the UK and became the fastest-selling single in British history at the time. The song would go on to sell over 20 million copies worldwide, generating tens of millions in aid for Ethiopia and inspiring a new era of music-driven activism. What made the song so powerful wasn't just its lineup or even the catchy chorus. It was the sincerity of its message. The lyrics, though controversial to some, forced listeners to confront suffering in the world and recognize their own privileges. Lines like, "There won't be snow in Africa this Christmas time," and "The only water flowing is the bitter sting of tears," stirred global consciousness in a way few pop songs ever had. The success of Do They Know It's Christmas didn't just end with its chart dominance, the single laid the foundation for Live Aid, the massive dual-continent concert held in 1985, also organized by Geldof and Ure. That event, broadcast live to nearly 2 billion people, raised even more funds for famine relief and is now considered one of the most significant cultural and humanitarian events in history. Over the years, the song has been re-recorded multiple times by newer generations of artists under the Band Aid banner in 1989, 2004, and 2014 to respond to different humanitarian crises. But none have matched the raw, impromptu spirit of the 1984 original. It was a moment frozen in time, when egos were cast aside for empathy and music became a weapon for change. Critics have at times pointed out that the song's lyrics oversimplify African realities or depict the continent in overly bleak terms. Yet despite its lyrical flaws, few can deny its cultural significance. Do They Know It's Christmas helped reframe what pop music could achieve, showing that it could be more than entertainment. It could be a lifeline. Nearly 40 years later, the song still plays each December, serving as both a reminder of a crisis and a symbol of hope. It echoes not only the hunger of a nation, but the hunger of a generation to do something, to make a difference through the power they had, their voices. In a world still grappling with global inequality and humanitarian disasters, the spirit of Band Aid continues to resonate. And while many Christmas songs remind us of love and family, this one urges us to look outward, to extend compassion beyond our borders. As Bob Geldof once said, "This song isn't about charity, It's about justice. Do They Know It's Christmas wasn't just a song. It was a movement, a moment of musical unity, and a timeless call to conscience.